Hi, everyone. It's your boy, Doug Smith, aka Jehovah Boy. Welcome to the show. As you know, this is not really a podcast anymore, but I am keeping the Patreon alive, responding to emails, taking calls from you, the people. This is basically your show now. This show rests on your shoulders. Without you, I got nothing, but I got a backlog of emails here, and I'm going to be scheduling some calls. I do not have the bandwidth to schedule weekly interviews, but I am going to keep this Patreon alive. So if you're watching this right now, thanks for the support. Whether you are a free member, a paid member, just you being here means the world to me. Without further ado, let's get into today's emails. We're going to do a 2-for-1 because these are both on the shorter side. Our first one comes from Jeff, who writes, "Hi there. I just discovered your podcast through Amber's recent IG post promoting her interview with you, and then listened to the episodes you did with Aaron Kaufman and Zach Zimmerman. Just downloaded his book." Let's give you a little backstory. Amber Scora, a fantastic ex-Jehovah's Witness author who wrote a book called Leaving the Faith. There's a colon in there with a second part of the title that I'm spacing on right now, but it's all about her trials and tribulations coming up through the ranks of the organization, becoming very involved in all aspects of it, traveling the world as a missionary, devoting all of her time and energy to the Christian ministry before waking up and leaving the religion. It's a fantastic book. Please check it out. Check out her episode. Aaron Kaufman, director, ex-Jehovah's Witness, who did a scathing documentary on Jehovah's Witnesses and the child sex abuse cases within the organization on the Vice channel called what the fuck is it called? It's gonna come to me. Let's move on. It'll come back to me. Crusaders on the Vice channel. It's wild. It is mind-blowing. If you think that Catholics are the goats in terms of child sex abuse, they are. But Jehovah's Witnesses, they're a close front runner. They're not. They're the Scottie Pippen to Michael Jordan. They're close behind. It's pretty wild stuff. Millions of dollars put into covering up these child sex abuse cases. So Amber Scora, Aaron Kaufman, both previous guests on this podcast. Check out their episodes. And Zach Zimmerman is a Southern Baptist gay comedian who there was a lot of parallels between Southern Baptists and Jehovah's Witnesses, especially the rampant homophobia in both fear of God, fear of fire and brimstone, and punishment for evil doing. So check out those previous episodes for a little more context on Jeff's intro here. But he writes, "Love the podcast, and I especially love the artwork. Who's the artist?" The artist is Jeff Tice, Geoffftise. Fantastic artist and comedian. You can commission his work as well. Hit him up on the gram. Great comic, great artist, multi-talented man. Jeff continues, "My name is Jeff. I'm a second-generation ex-JW, disassociated POMO, which, as I now know, POMO is an acronym for physically out, mentally out, as opposed to PMO, which is physically in, mentally out, or PME, which is physically in, mentally in. None of these terms existed when I was in. You were either an upstanding member of the organization or you were a dirty fucking apostate." Jeff continues, "I haven't written a book or produced a film before yet, but if you're ever looking for someone to talk with on your podcast, I'm interested." Well, Jeff, I just may hit you up, get you on the horn. "Here's my run on JWCV. I don't know what CV is, if anybody wants to enlighten me. I grew up in the San Francisco Bay Area, baptized at the Cow Palace. If you know, you know. I do not know. And did a number of things to keep the gay at bay until it ultimately took me out during the pandemic. I pioneered for a year in Alabama, learned sign language, learned Punjabi, learned Mandarin, played the modern-day Joseph in the live-action 2015 Bible drama, moved to China, converted people, came home, had a nervous breakdown, came out, woke up in Japan while having a psychotic break, never went back to a meeting, met a guy 2 days before the lockdown, and came out again. Jeez, Jeff. How about you get off your ass and do something, huh? This is fucking wild. Jesus. This really is keeping the gay at bay. A lot of distractions here, man. But that love of cock is always gonna come to the surface, isn't it? I turned in my DA letter in 2021 to make it official and have been trying to live as authentically as possible since. Uh, well, it's pretty impressive the amount of shit this guy did. Even with all that, you would think that would be enough of a distraction, but no. Multiple sign language, Punjabi, Mandarin. Also, playing Joseph in the live action 2015 Bible drama, as I may have mentioned in previous episodes, they have these Jehovah's Witness conventions with Bible dramas, which are basically theatrical performances where Jehovah's Witnesses with no acting experience whatsoever are cast in these roles, and it's far more entertaining than watching SNL. They have no cue cards, so they forget their lines all the time. They have absolutely zero charisma, and it's an absolute fucking um, hilarious disaster every time. That was always the highlight of the conventions for me. They got fake beards glued on, falling off halfway through. They're tripping in their oversized Birkenstocks. They're dressed like they're supposed to be in biblical times, wearing burlap sacks and shit. It's worth going to a convention, honestly. If you've never been to a convention, it's worth going to one just to check out a Bible drama. Jeff continues, I haven't listened to all your episodes yet, so I'm not sure if you have touched on this topic aside from your interview with Zach, but it would be interesting to talk with you about the rampant homophobia within the religion and how challenging it is for queer people to live under that kind of cognitive dissonance. Since leaving, I've made it a goal to help never witnesses, non-witnesses, understand just how homophobic the doctrines are and how much damage is done to people's mental health living under that kind of constant pressure, including being forced to come out to elders, family members, and friends when you're not ready due to self-confessions in judicial meetings. Yeah, that would I would love to talk to an ex-J-Dub more about the homophobia in the organization, because I knew several people in my congregation that were closeted homosexuals who married women, went on to have children, just living a lie. It's heartbreaking. They just have to suppress these natural tendencies their entire lives and pretend as if it's not a part of them. And it's wild to me, absolutely wild to me, that in 2024, Jehovah's Witnesses have not become slightly more lenient in their acceptance of gay people. They're excluding a massive, massive demographic that, they could potentially double their numbers if they were like, gays, get in here. Let me give you a big hard-on hug. Let's touch tips. We love you. You're welcome. Why not? If they're not going to go that far, just don't mention it. There's plenty of other Christian religions that are not, amped about gays, but they don't make a stink about it. They just kind of oh, we don't see nothing. Don't ask, don't tell. So, J-Dubs, up your numbers. Let some gays in. Anyway, Jeff continues. No worries if you got a full schedule. Thanks for your show. It's fun and important. Important. You hear that, people? I'm doing the Lord's work. Truly doing the Lord's work. Thanks so much, Jeff. I will definitely get in touch with you and hopefully schedule a call. I would love to hear more about the experience of a gay Jehovah's Witness and their efforts to come out and live a life of truth. All right, our next email comes from Scott, who writes, Hi, I've been enjoying your comedic take on growing up as a Jehovah's Witness. I can definitely relate to many of your experiences, i.e. pretending to ring the bell. Yes, I used to go to, I had to go door to door, and if there was a doorbell, if there's a door, no doorbell, you got to knock. I was pretty good at faking a knock, hovering my knuckles right above the door, and if there was a doorbell, I would press right next to the doorbell. If anybody was standing with me, obviously I couldn't do that. But if I just was like, hey, I'm just going to run up to the door myself real quick, car group of people, waiting in the driveway, it was very easy to, give a fake ring or a fake knock. For most of my life, I've enjoyed my time in the organization and have made some good friends, had some good experiences. However, a few years ago when my son was born, there were some minor complications when my wife went into labor and they asked again and again if we were sure about not taking blood. It was a real turning point for me. Fortunately, everything went smoothly and no blood was needed. Everyone was okay. I asked myself, could I really let my wife die like that? She has made the choice not to take blood, but I don't think I could have lived with myself. If my infant son needed blood, would I really be willing to let him die, a child who doesn't know about the doctrine? I'm glad that you were not forced to make that choice. I always hope that people will put family ahead of religion, but oftentimes in cases like this, where blood is called for, uh, other members of the congregation, elders, will show up to advocate on the family's behalf and kind of reinstate the indoctrination of the witnesses that blood transfusions are a sin, even though there's no mention of blood, partaking of blood in any way except from eating it is a sin in the Bible. It's been completely twisted and manipulated from one passage in the Bible to be absolute truth, and it has led to countless unnecessary deaths. So he asks, if my infant son needed blood, would I really be willing to let him die? A child who doesn't know about the doctrine? The answer is no. This was just one teaching I came to feel as bullshit, and this just opened a door to how fucked up the organization is. Also, why can't we grow beards? Mustache is okay. I guess it fits the pedophile look they're going for. Your mustache is cool though. Yes, no beards in the JW organization, even though all of their illustrations and all their publications of biblical times, everyone's got a fucking beard. I thought there was something about the four corners of the face being covered, and now that's a no-no, but a mustache is okay. I don't know the reasoning behind any of this. I did not have a mustache when I was in the organization. If anybody wants to shed some light on this, why facial hair is not allowed, beards not allowed, mustaches are okay, I would love to find out more on that. I was not allowed to have long hair. I remember when my hair got a little bit too long, started touching my shirt collar, I had an elder come up to me and be like, "Hey, man, it's time for a haircut." And I was like, "Is it?" He's like, "Yes, it is. This is this is not acceptable. You are not a what did he say? I can't remember. He was not. He was like, you're not presenting yourself in God's image. Like, what does God have a fucking buzz cut? What are you talking about? God is God. God is not somebody in human form. God is portrayed in the publications. Again, God has a fucking beard. All these pictures of Jehovah, the Sky Daddy up there, white flowing hair and a beard. Everybody, Jesus has a beard. God has a beard. Two different people. If they were one person, you might be like, well, I wonder what God thinks about this. But they don't believe in the Trinity. God and Jesus are two different people, and they each have beards. I don't remember seeing any visual representation of the Holy Spirit, but I'm willing to bet the ranch that the fucking Holy Spirit has a beard too. So I don't understand. If you know, let me know. Anyway, I guess I'm considered a PMO. There we go. They really love throwing these terms around. So again, PMO, physically in, mentally out. So he's going through the motions. He's going to meetings, but he just goes ah, la, 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 while they're up there yammering away. Not sure how to leave yet. I'm worried it will destroy my family, but I know it has to be done. Sometimes I wish we were just like Catholic or Jewish, where you could just not go to church and no one even cares. Yeah, that would be cool. Regards, Scott. Yeah, so many religions don't really ask that much of you. You just simply got to identify as one and maybe check in once or twice a year, and that's it. Jehovah's Witnesses, you really gotta. It's a full time job. Yeah, they did cut back to 2 meetings a week, from what I heard. as opposed to 3, but you still got to go out knocking on doors all the time. Conventions, memorial service, daily Bible study. Yeah, you really got to put yourself through the paces to prove yourself. It's exhausting. So wish you the best, Scott. That sounds like a tough situation to be in. I can't tell from this. Yeah, it sounds like his wife. It sounds like he's raising his kid in the religion. No mention here of his wife turning against the church due to this blood transfusion issue. Sounds like he might be the only one, but yeah, there's a lot of people in this predicament that are starting to question things, but it's this world that's been created for them. They're trapped in this bubble. They don't know anything outside of it, and it's not so easy to just leave because then they got to start all over. And sounds like this guy, rightfully so, does not want to leave his wife and son. He doesn't want to leave on his own so that they say, fuck you, you're out. We're choosing J-Dubs over you. So tough situation, but Scott, I wish you all the best and keep fighting the good fight. And thanks for reaching out. Thank you all for tuning in. Keep those emails coming, jehovahboypodcast@gmail.com. Hit me up, share your story. Let me know if you want to hop on the phone, and you can be the featured guest on the next episode. Thanks for tuning in. Later.